Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Law Lounge with Silva with your favorite criminal defense attorney here in LA. Okay, you guys, the Mackenzie Shirley case. The documentary is called The Crash and it's on Netflix. And this absolutely fascinated me. So, Mackenzie was 17 years old when this crime happened. Allegedly, she was driving over 100 miles per hour and she crashed into a building and she killed her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend. She was also injured and taken to the hospital. Well, she was charged with murder, and she was also charged in the state in Ohio as an adult. What was really interesting to me is the defense attorney chose to do this as a bench trial. Now, mind you, when anyone is charged in this country, defense attorneys will have a choice. They can choose a bench trial, which is where the judge makes the decision of innocence and guilt, or a jury trial. You really don't see a lot of attorneys pick bench trials. Of course they do, especially if they have a really strong case. But we always trust the jury system because we know judges are jaded. In over 20 years, I have not asked for a bench trial when my client is charged as an adult. I choose a jury. Why? Because judges are jaded. You know, they see the worst of the worst, and juries have a tendency to keep an open mind. They'll listen to the evidence. They will really abide by the law and find the client innocent until proven guilty, where a lot of times judges see someone sits next to you and they assume they're guilty. I was very surprised of this bench trial, and the reason being is the judge had seen all of the evidence. And what that means is sometimes we can exclude evidence from the jury seeing it when it's really prejudicial, when we know it can hurt their case. But judges, if they exclude it, they still see it. And if you don't think that affects their minds, it absolutely does. And this case was tough because the prosecutors really believe that Mackenzie intended to kill her boyfriend and his friend. And it's really difficult to prove intent, especially when it was shown that Mackenzie had marijuana in her system. And the defense was trying to show that she had a medical issue, though they didn't have a doctor testify to it. There were a lot of issues to this case. And I'm not here to say one way or another whether Mackenzie had the intent or not. We have to really peer into the evidence a lot closer and a lot more than a 90-minute Netflix documentary. But I'd love to hear your opinion. What struck you about this case? Because what struck me, I didn't see enough defense experts. I would love to have seen a medical expert, a psychological expert. I would like to see a crash expert from the defense and also a social media expert, because the prosecutors really hung their hats on her horrible social media postings. Well, anyone who has teenagers know when it comes to social media, what they post isn't always representative of themselves. Anyway, you guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay safe out there.